y'all, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Nandria. Thank you so much for stopping by, and this is a sort of long video, you guys, so we are going to hop right in. So for our lock style today, I was feeling a little bit nostalgic and was going through Pinterest and found a lot of pictures of locks with cornrows or straight backs, whatever you want to call it. So I said I want to try and see if I could do that with my locks. So that is what we're going to be doing today. I started off by doing everything in sections just because it was a little bit easier for me to navigate. When it comes to this style, you want to know how many cornrows or straight backs you want. I specifically wanted 5, so I sectioned it off so that I could have 5 of those. To also make it a little bit easier, I waited until I was getting to those rows before I retwisted, just because I wanted to make sure that I was only including the locks that were going to be in that cornrow instead of locks that were going to be in another one. So I separated them and then I retwisted those sections, and that is when I got to braiding. Now, I cannot teach anyone how to braid. I just feel like it's something you have to practice, just like most things. When it comes to the locks, it was a little bit trickier because I have done cornrows when I was a loose natural, but the locks just make it a little bit trickier. So as you guys can see, I started off with 2 locks and then I went ahead and tried to incorporate 3 to make that cornrow, and then I just took locks and incorporated them into the braid as I went along. Now, the front half of the braid was a lot easier than the back half, simply because 1, my locks are very thick, and 2, I have locks of different lengths, so it got a little bit harder to finish off the braid than I thought. So I would try my best to finish it off as best as I could, and then once I got to the end, I will take some rubber bands to kind of hold it in place, because as you guys are going to see, some of the locks were sticking out. So while the rubber bands were doing what I needed to do to keep the locks in place, I did want something that was a little cuter, and also, like I said, this was a kind of nostalgic look, so I wanted something that could also tie into that. So I remember that I have something similar to the rubber bands. It's kind of this gold wire. I got it at the beauty supply store, and I've literally had this forever, you guys, and never used it, but I'm so glad I kept it because I say one day I would use it, and look, you guys, today is that day. So I went ahead and tried it out, and I actually really liked it. So I started off with 5 straight backs, and I decided to combine 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and leave the 1 in the back by itself. So to attach the wire, I kind of started by knotting it at the end, and then I would wrap it all the way up to as far as I wanted to, and then wrap it back down. Now, as you guys can see by the combination of straight backs on the left, I did try and do a little design with the X, but it got a little complicated sometimes. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just play around and see what it does. Nonetheless, I feel like this was a great solution to the rubber bands, because while the rubber bands did keep it in place, it kind of looked a little weird. Versus this, it gives it a nice little touch, as well as it keeps the locks in place. hair is finished, we're gonna move on to my favorite part, which is the makeup. So I'm starting with my brows, and I'm gonna go in with the NYX Professional Eyebrow Pencil in the shade Espresso. And I start by outlining my brows and then filling them in. After my brows are done, I'm going to go in with the Born This Way concealer in the shade Butterscotch, and I'm going to use this to highlight my brows. Now, I have switched my routine where I used to highlight the bottom and the top, but now I kind of just do the bottom, because once I go in with my foundation, the concealer always blends in with the foundation anyway. And then I'm also using a much lighter shade for the concealer, because I feel like this really helps the brow bone pop and really helps the eyebrows look like they're really professionally done. For my foundation, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation in the shade Deep Golden. This is an absolute favorite foundation of mine. It's lightweight, but it's buildable, and the match is absolutely divine. Once the foundation is done, I'm going to go in with another one of my favorite products, which is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Deep Chestnut. This shade is literally so perfect for me. It's about 2 shades lighter than my foundation color, but I'm going to go in under my eyes, on my chin, across the bridge of my nose, and then a little bit on my forehead. And then I also wait a little bit for the concealer to dry. It doesn't really take very long to dry, and I also have a fan. But when you let the concealer dry, it really helps with full coverage. And then I'm gonna go in with a beauty sponge, because as you guys can see, the beauty sponge really gets that in nice and smoothly. my concealer is blended, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush, and this is in the shade Gorge Orange. I absolutely love e.l.f. blushes. They're just super pigmented and the coverage is amazing. Now, I've learned as I've been doing my makeup that the placement of the blush actually makes a lot of difference when it comes to your face shape. My face is really round, so I use blush and contour to really chisel out those features and also give me some dimension in my face. So I'm placing the blush really high up on my cheekbones so that it can really lift my face as I'm going in with my makeup. And I also apologize for the little dance breaks. I was listening to music while I was doing my makeup, and clearly the music was hitting at this point. Now this step you can definitely skip, but if you also like bright under eyes, this step is going to be for you. So I went in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer in the shade Tan Sand, and I mixed it with the Butterscotch Concealer just because I wanted a brighter under eye, but I didn't want it to be too bright because while we're still going for glam, it's just going to be a soft glam, so we want it to be a little subtle. So I mixed those two shades in, and I went back under my under eye with the shades and then blended that back out with the beauty sponge. So now we are done with all of our liquid products. So the next step to do is going to be to set this in place. I'm going to go in with my Morphe setting mist, and I'm also going to take my fan and dry that down. You want to make sure it dries down so you know that nothing is moving. And then we're going to move on to all of our powder product. I'm going to first go in with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Powder in the shade Toffee Caramel, and I'm going to use this to set all of the areas where I highlighted. So under my eyes, the bridge of my nose, the small area of my forehead, as well as my chin. Then to make sure that those highlighted areas stay bright, I'm going to go in with the Huda Beauty setting powder in the shade Banana Bread, and I'm going to go back over those highlighted areas with this powder. Now this powder compared to the Maybelline Fit Me powder is a loose powder, and as you guys can see, it's much lighter. So I also like to use this to bake. Now when I bake, I'm only going to be baking the areas that can crease. So that's going to be my under eyes as well as my smile lines. So I'll go in with my first layer while I press it in, just like how I did with the Maybelline powder. And then as you guys can see, I'm going to go in with a second layer, and I'm going to be very light with this because you don't want to do too much. But this second layer is going to be that baking layer, and I'm just going to put a little bit more powder there just so that we can make sure that the areas are set and that they don't crease. Now when I do soft glams, I don't contour, I bronze instead. So I'm going to go in with the Juvia's Place bronze palette in the shade Dark. And you guys, this is something I learned from actually watching makeup artists do their makeup, but sometimes they just be mixing up the colors. Sometimes I would use the darker shade, sometimes I would use the lighter shade, but today I just decided to mix them together and it created this beautiful color that matched really, really well. So I would say whenever you're doing your makeup, go ahead and play around with the shades and colors that you have to see what comes from it. Now that we're done with the bronzing, we're going to go on to blush. So I'm going to go in Juvia's Place blush palette, and I'm going to go with the purple instead of the orange, even though I went with the orange with the liquid blush, just because I did this once before, and like I said, you just got to play with the makeup sometimes. And I realized that when I mix the purple with the orange, it creates a beautiful color, almost red, but it really matches my complexion really well. So I think this is my new go-to when I'm doing blush, to combine the colors. And now to add a little bit more dimension into my face, I went back in with the bronzer, and this time I'm only using the darkest color just to act like an eyeshadow, but it's gonna really bring some color into my eyes, and then also it's gonna make it look a little bit more. Now we are done with all of our powder products. So I'm going to go ahead and take a clean brush and dust off the Huda Beauty powder. And I'm making sure not to tap it in. We're really just swiping it off and making sure that we're getting all of it off so it doesn't leave that white cast. I'm also going to set my face once again because we want everything to stay in place. And now it's time for the finishing touches. I wanted some color under my eyes, but I didn't want to do eyeshadow, so I decided to go in back with the blush. This is actually the first time I've ever done this, and I probably will be doing this again. So I went back in with the blush and then used this as kind of eyeshadow for my under eyes, and I really love this because it connected with the blush so well. So it looked like one seamless, beautiful color that was added to my face. Now my lashes were already done for this look, so I didn't need to put on falsies, but I did go in with my Essence Lash Princess mascara to add some lift to my bottom lashes. And you guys, I feel like the cheat code to having a nice look is to do things that make it pop. And when you put on mascara on the bottom lashes as well as some eyeshadow, it really makes it pop. Like, look at the difference between the left eye and the right eye. Now it is time for the lip. I have been loving red lips, especially in the winter. So I'm going to go in with this red lip pencil. I don't remember the brand, but I got it from the TikTok shop. If you follow me on TikTok, you'll have a video with the link in there. So I go in with a red lip liner, and then I'm going to use that on the outskirts of the lips just to get that color. And then I'm actually going to go in with a black lip pencil, and this is just because I like the gradient effect when it comes to red lips. I don't like when it's like too red. I like when there's a little bit of dimension, and I feel like the black lip pencil adds that dimension. Now when it comes to this, you really do have to take your time and go in a little bit at a time because you don't want it to look too crazy. So I would go in with the red pencil, always smudge it out to see where it lands, and then go in with the black, smudge that out, and then just adjust as I go. Once I have the lip liner to my liking, I'm gonna go in with a red lip. This lippy, you guys, I am absolutely in love with. Unfortunately, I don't have the name of it. I don't know the shade of it. It doesn't have it on the packaging, and I got this a very long time ago, but I would just recommend any red lippy that you have Now this one, I really love it because it's a satin feel finish, but it almost looks like a matte lip, but it feels so good. And the finish as well is really, really pretty. So this is definitely going to be one of my rotations when I'm doing my red lips, because oh my gosh, just look at you guys. I'm absolutely in love. Now last but not least, I'm going to take a black eyeliner and I'm going to add some fake moles. I have been getting back into this lately. I feel like it just gives a nice, cute, flirty feel. And with the look, with the hair, the makeup, I was really just playing around. So I had the time, I had the makeup. I said, let me just see what we create. And I feel like adding this was really the final cherry on top, because you guys, it's giving Marilyn Monroe, it's giving Betty Boop, but this is the makeup look. So now let's get into the outfit. So the outfit itself is super simple. I feel like it's really the details that add to this outfit, but I start with my favorite cargo jeans that I got from Forever 21. You guys, the story behind these jeans are so funny. I went into the store, saw the jeans, they did not have my size, so I had to go on Forever 21. They didn't have it, so then I had to track it, but I finally got them in my size and I'm absolutely in love with it. I paired that with a plain black top. It's winter, so we're just gonna keep it simple. It's gonna be covered by a coat anyway. And then now we're gonna accessorize. So I decided to do 2 layers of necklaces. So I did a regular gold necklace, and then I added this little petite cute also gold necklace, but it has a little diamond on it, which I think is really cute. Then I'm gonna go in and add some rings. So I went in with 4 rings. I got these rings as a set from the TikTok shop. Once again, go ahead and check out my TikTok because all of those are linked there. And I kind of just picked some random ones. I didn't really have an idea what I was doing before. I just picked ones that seemed fun and funky and just put those on. Once those rings are on, then it's time for the earrings. Now, I don't know if you know this, but my ears are not pierced, so all of my earrings are clip-on earrings. I got this from AliExpress. Unfortunately, they don't sell these earrings anymore, so I don't have a link or anything for you guys, but these were all the accessories that I decided to go for this look. Now for my feet, I just went in with my Air Jordan mids. It has red in it, so I thought it was a perfect pair with the red lip. And then, like I said, we're just doing a casual, very simple outfit, so I feel like this kept it on that side. Now, when it came to the bag, I was pretty indecisive. I knew I wanted a red bag, but I had a few red bags. I finally narrowed it down to these 2, which is my Cease brand Protect Black Women and my Brandon Blackwood End Systemic Racism. I decided to go with the End Systemic Racism bag because I feel like it was nice, petite, and cute, but it's still tied in with the look. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think I should have went with the Protect Black Women purse, or do you think the End Systemic Racism bag was cute? But that is the final look, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.